Meet Randy. He's a new employee, going on 4 months. He's got a lot to work safely for. His son Ben turned 4 last week. Wants to grow up to be just like his dad. Randy's working on some electrical this morning. Sure hope he remembers to isolate, lock, tag, and test procedures. Randy can get a little distracted sometimes. Randy, that's the wrong panel. He doesn't have his head in the game. He's gonna get himself killed. You isolated the wrong panel, Randy.
What? How?
You didn't follow procedures. You got distracted. You're lucky you're not dead right now. Always remember, it's important to always isolate the equipment or any type of energy source that you're going to be working with. Then lock and tag out the isolation device so that the energy source cannot be inadvertently turned back on. Make sure the tag contains the necessary information needed to contact those responsible for the lockout. And always test to be sure that all energy sources have been isolated. When you're working with others, you need to think about their safety as well as your own. The isolate, lock, tag, and test protocol is what's protecting you and your team from serious preventable injury. Working in a confined space is not as simple as it looks. There are so many steps involved with even getting a guy into one, it's a wonder any mistakes are made. But there are. So everybody takes this type of work very seriously. Human error can happen though. The atmosphere can worsen if a potential hazard is overlooked. For example, by idling a truck or other machine. Those emissions are deadly. Speaking of emissions,
Man down!
Stop the truck!
always remember, when working in a confined space, everyone must know the entry plan, the rescue plan, and have the proper permits. Anyone on the job must be made aware of the potential hazards and what they need to do to control them. Also, everyone has to be aware of the air quality because there are different protocols that apply for different contaminants. All workers need to scan for and recognize hazards. Confined spaces are dangerous as it is, let alone when someone hasn't done their job. It's important to follow these steps as they are there to protect you and your team from accidents. There's a handful of jobs that require fall protection, and 2 handfuls of ways to keep you safe from slips, trips, and falls. The World Health Organization estimates that 424,000 people die in falls every year. That's too many. Hey Randy, that's a good look for you, but where's your shock absorber, man? A harness and lanyard aren't enough.
I didn't think it was necessary.
Yeah, shock absorbers. Without it, you can still break your back and fall.
Thanks, man.
Always remember, best practice is to always inspect all your equipment for damage, like cuts, loose mounting, or signs of contact with corrosives. Also, use a full body harness with shock absorbers that you've inspected before putting on, and that has been formally inspected at least once within the past year. Use a proper length lanyard. You will need to determine the length based on the job and the fall hazard involved. And finally, Use appropriate anchor points that have enough clearance in an unexpected fall to prevent injury. At the end of the day, you want to feel like you've been working safely and that your health hasn't been compromised. You want to go home feeling satisfied with a good day's work amongst workers that put safety first. It'll be interesting to note if Randy recalls anything he learned from his suspended load safety workshop. Maybe he doesn't consider that car a suspended load, but really, a suspended load can be anything, anywhere. As long as it's suspended, it's heavy and could potentially pose a threat. Hey, Ben. Always remember, it's important that workers know not to get close to suspended loads. They've heard the stories, and besides, we work so safely now, we just don't do it. Same thing goes for unsupported ground. After a blast, they send in the ground support crew. It's just how we do it. Any trained worker knows to keep clear of suspended loads, at work or at home. Hey, Ben.
What?
Why don't we walk under ladders?
It's Bob.
Attaboy. The thing with these types of accidents is that gravity's a powerful force, something you don't want to bet against. Human error or machine error, hard to predict.